Ooh, we are live. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the show. And yes, it is Thursday, which means that we are here a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties and whatever. It doesn't matter. You guys don't care. So we are here again Thursday, and we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to touch on the NBA Finals. We're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick and his contract. Uh, yeah, we're basically just going to talk about the 49ers, I guess, in general, because, geez, what a disaster.
Let's
Um,
go.
and then I was going to talk about David Ortiz and Big Papi and Brawls in baseball. And we're also going to talk about some recent international soccer games that happened. It's basically preseason, and unfortunately, injuries do happen. And we're going to touch on those injuries and how they can be prevented and just give our personal opinion on stuff like that. So, but let's start with the NBA Finals. The San Antonio Spurs, yes? What? Where did he go? Where did he go? He left me here. Oh my God. All right, you guys. Well, that's awesome. So I'm here now. Thank you. Okay, Docky, you are back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. What happened?
I couldn't hear you anymore, but I think it was on my end and not your end this time because now I hear you. So we're good to go.
Okay. Okay, we're good to go. All right. So let's start with by talking about the NBA Finals, and let's San Antonio Spurs versus the Miami Heat. Who do you got, man? Give
I
me.
got I got the Miami Spurs in 7. I don't know. I really don't know who's gonna win the series. My heart, my heart, or maybe my mind. I don't know which one, but I want the Spurs to win. I want the Spurs to win. I just want them to win. I don't want LeBron James to win. Call me a hater, whatever you want to call me. I don't want Dwayne Wade to win. Don't want the Heat to win as a whole. I just don't want them to win. So I'm gonna be pulling for the Spurs, but when my Dwayne Wade might be one of the most underrated players in the NBA just because he's playing with LeBron James. He's a phenomenal player. Chris Bosh, he's phenomenal. I like the bench of the Spurs better. I think that they're a much deeper team. I mean, let's not forget that the Spurs were, a free throw away from ending that game. The game that Ray Allen sent to overtime, they were one made free throw away from it being a 4-point game instead of a 3-point game. In Game 7, I believe Tim Duncan missed a layup and stuff like that. So the Spurs, they were close last year. And now I feel like their team is better. I think that Leonard is a better player than he was last year. Ginobili, he's a shell of himself. But at the end of the day, I'm pulling for the Spurs. It wouldn't surprise me though of Miami, but I got the Spurs in 7. I think it's gonna go to
Ooh,
7 again.
ooh, Spurs and 7.
Spurs in 7.
All right. Well, I'm with you. I want the Spurs to win, but I'm also like you, a realist, and I think
Yeah.
that Chris Bosh is going to be the X factor in this series, and as well as Ray Allen and Shane Battier. I think we're going to be hearing a lot of Shane Battier for 3 bangs during this series.
Bang bang.
Bang, Battier, bang. So we're going to be hearing a lot of those, and yeah, I mean. Unfortunately, you got one team that's kind of on the upswing, and you have another team that's kind of on the downswing, holding on to that last bit of dynasty that
Yeah.
they have. But that's not to take away anything from the Spurs. It's just realistic that a lot of their series have been much more grueling than the Heat series have been.
Yes.
So because of that, I think that it's going to it took its toll on the Spurs. I know that the Spurs are very competitive, and Tim Duncan is a very competitive person, even though he doesn't show it that much. He's very competitive. The whole team is. They're very well coached, but I'm thinking Miami in 6.
Miami in
Um,
6, huh?
Miami in 6. It's just Miami's just too good right now, and I mean this is something that we actually talked about a little bit as well. Is like the NBA right now isn't that interesting because you always know who's gonna win. Like yes, you have those teams like the Washington Wizards, okay, but the majority of the time you know that the Miami Heat are gonna win just because they're just so much better than everyone else because they've literally bought. their team to compete against the
Ooh,
elite.
they bought their team, huh?
They did buy their team, you
Okay.
know.
I'm not
But at the same
disagreeing with
time,
you.
it has to be said that in the NBA, it's very hard to build a team because even with draft picks, there are so many draft picks that don't work. You know, I mean, if you think about the draft picks that have really stepped up and been like, okay, you know, if this guy was worth all of his money, you can probably count those on one hand.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so, so with there being like all these, with so much publicity going toward the NBA draft, a lot of the mindset should be okay. So you know these guys may not turn out, and you may actually have to spend money to bring in another player. You know, so it's really
Absolutely.
hard to build a team, and that's what Milwaukee is going through right now. I mean, they thought they were going to be competitive this year, well, kind of hoping to be competitive, I guess, and they thought that Ante Okumbo was going to be really good, but he's not very good, as it turns out.
He's better than what you're making him to be. But again, we're not talking about the Bucks, but I see where you're coming from. This is one of the issues
We
with
can't.
basketball. It's very predictable. Everybody kind of knew Indiana and Miami were gonna make the conference finals. San Antonio, OKC was probably gonna make the conference finals. There's really not that much parity in the NBA anymore, and it's pretty sad. Oh, I'll be back, fellas.
Would you? Jesus. This is the second time you have left us. Uh, Hombre, how's it going? Hombre, are you there? Hombre, yes? No? Maybe so? Technical difficulties. This is always, it's always a pleasure, Google Plus. Ugh. But I encourage everyone to leave comments down below and let us know what you think about the finals, who you think is going to win, and what do you think about the NBA right now. Do you think that it's kind of getting too predictable, and is that hurting the game? Are these teams like the Miami Heat, the I wouldn't even throw in the Brooklyn Nets just because even though they bought their team, they're not really buying a championship because they aren't that competitive. Like no one would think that the Brooklyn's going to win, even though they bought their team. So do you think that's kind of hurting people, and especially with like Melo being a free agent and him wanting to join another team, then you have D Rose come back, and you have Melo wanting to join the Bulls and create that type of tandem. You know, what I mean, it seems like everyone's trying to get that like that threesome. You know, and then once you get that threesome, then it can be like a competitive team. But I mean, Durant's doing it the right way, I guess.
Yeah, but I think, and I don't mean to cut you all off, but in my opinion, if the Spurs would have never got Tim Duncan, where would they be at? Because they got Tim Duncan with the first overall pick, back in that draft, I believe it was like 97 or whatever. But David Robinson was hurt for that whole season. So if they didn't get the lottery pick, then Tim Duncan's not a Spur, and the Spurs might not ever win a championship. You know what I mean? So with basketball, I think the lottery hurts it. I think just the fact that these players are coming out way too young and they're not NBA ready hurts it. You know what I mean? I think that baseball is starting to get, I think baseball right now has more parity than basketball does. You know what I mean? And to me that's pretty sad because basketball used to be one of the top sports, probably still is, but as far as being predictable, it's hurting the NBA in my opinion.
For sure, Hombre, how's it going?
I
Is he there, Hombre?
think he's frozen. Is he frozen?
Maybe he's just really happy to see us.
Yeah,
Oh, I love it, you guys. I
man.
love Thursdays. You can always rely on Thursdays to give you a run for their money.
I know,
All right.
right?
Well, let's move on.
Yeah.
And let's talk about something else.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about the 49ers now. If
Yes.
you guys, yes. Now Dawkins, I'm gonna hold off on you because I wanted to go last on this one.
All right,
Uh,
man.
but there's been a lot of stuff in the news about the 49ers recently. Kaepernick got a huge deal. The most, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the most guaranteed money of any quarterback in the league right now, even ahead of Aaron Rodgers,
Yes.
I believe. Okay, so he gets his huge contract, and before all that happened, he also got accused of rape, I believe,
No, it wasn't. No, 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 no,
or
no.
assault. What was it? It was
No,
something.
it wasn't anything like
Oh,
that. It wasn't anything.
okay,
He
whatever.
was he wasn't charged or accused of anything
Okay, well,
or investigated for anything. But continue.
okay, well, I don't. I mean, hey, this is why I'm here. All right, just to make outlandish statements.
Hey, for
And
sure, brother.
and then Alden Smith got arrested in an airport and stuff like that, and then there's just been, and then Vernon Davis not saying that he wants a bigger contract.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, this team is just such a mess, and
Oh, get him.
and this is something that I actually mentioned to Dawkins, I think it was a couple days ago, that coaches have two major things that they have to do. One, coaches have to create game plans and kind of be that face, I guess, of an organization. You could argue, okay,
Yeah,
field those
yeah.
tough questions. But the second thing, and probably the most important thing, is to be a leader of men. And when I say that, I mean you have to be a leader of men that shows an example and teaches these people how to be role models for the next generation of kids. Because if you don't do that, then you will continue to have Alden Smiths, and you will continue to have Michael Vicks, and you will, yes, I threw him in there, and you will continue to have Ricky Williams, and you will not have Tom Brady's, and you will not have Peyton Manning's, and you will not have Patrick Willis's, or Ray Lewis's. Well, forget Ray Lewis in that murder charge or whatever, but you wouldn't have those guys that really play the game right, work hard, show dedication. You won't have those guys anymore because you are not. You're displaying a really destructive and a really nasty product, and it's unfortunate. And I wish that I could sit here and say that the NFL is going in the right direction, but it seems like every single time that I turn on the television, go to ESPN, underneath it says, "Oh, the NFL is now suspending this guy for a substance abuse policy."
Right,
So,
right.
so baseball, the NBA, and the NFL, and now I'm kind of off topic again, but they're all a problem. But the 49ers are just a perfect example of how you can really just mess up a really beautiful franchise. This was a beautiful.
All right. Let me step in because now you're just going totally out of bounds. Anyways, I don't know where you're going with what you're trying to say, but you went back decades. You went back to early 2000 with the Ray Lewis thing. That just shows that these guys are human. These guys are young. These guys have a lot of money, and they're going to make mistakes. Me and you make plenty of mistakes, plenty of mistakes, don't we? But they're not out there in the media to dissect. When we're talking about the contract that Colin Kaepernick got, you have to remember that this is football. You have to remember that all the money isn't guaranteed. So $61 million, that's the most guaranteed money. But a $126 million contract, not that bad. In my opinion, why is it different from Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan? Is because this team is stacked. This team is stacked. They already locked up Patrick Willis. He's already signed for the next 2 years because they gave him a 5-year, $50 million contract about 3 years ago. They already signed Navarro Bowman. He's paid. They already signed Crabtree. They already signed Bolden. You know what I mean? Vernon Davis, he wants to build his brand. Go build your brand someplace else. I don't want you. In another year, if Alden Smith does something again, bye. I don't want you. That's my opinion. I totally see where you're coming from. But let's not forget that Jimmy Johnson and the Dallas Cowboys, when they were winning all those Super Bowls, Jimmy Johnson said, "You want to go to strip club? Go to strip club. You want to go to parties? Go to parties. Show up for me on Sunday. Do whatever you want to do during the week, but show up for me on Sunday." Is that a good example? Not necessarily. We talk about, let's not forget, you want to bring up baseball, let's not forget about Puig and what he's into. Let's not forget about that. So at the end of the day, these guys make a lot of money. These guys don't make good decisions. They're young. They're some of them are idiots. Some of them are idiots. But again, Joe Flacco, when he got that big deal, the Ravens are not the Niners. The Ravens are not as stacked as the Niners, okay? The Ravens had to let go Anquan Bolden, had to let go of Ed Reed, had to let go of all these players to sign Joe Flacco to that big deal. This deal is different. It's a 6-year deal. So he's getting $61 million in the next 6 years. That's $10 million for a quarterback that in a lot of people's eyes is a top 10 quarterback. So again, is that really breaking the bank? Not necessarily. Is it more than Aaron Rodgers? It's more than Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry that Colin Kaepernick got a bigger deal than you did. But if we look at it in the past, when the top draft pick got drafted, right? But before the new CBA, before the new structure of contracts, this rookie will get this much. The next year, at the same pick, that rookie will get more. Then that rookie will get more. So let's not jump to conclusions as if Colin Kaepernick is going to be the highest paid quarterback going into next season when Cam Newton gets paid, or when Andrew Luck gets paid, or when Russell Wilson gets paid, because those guys are probably going to make more than $61 million guaranteed. That's the market now. These are what the quarterbacks are worth now. But again, if you look at the Niners, Anquan Bolden, Michael Crabtree, Stevie Johnson at receiver. All three of those guys can be number one receivers on a different team. We still have Vernon Davis, but check out the running backs. Frank Gore. Frank Gore. We have Carlos Hyde. We have Lattimore. We have Smith. I mean, we have all these guys. We have all these guys to this plug and play. So the Niners are deep. They're deep. That's the one thing that's different from the Falcons last year and the Ravens last year. Now, when we're talking about, what's going on with the Niners, I mean, how can we stop Vernon Davis from holding out? How could you stop – how could you really stop Aldon Smith from getting drunk and yelling bomb? You can't really police that. So I see where you're coming from, Living, but at the end of the day, you can't control everything.
Do you agree with the contract?
I thought that he should get guaranteed-wise, I think that he should have gotten 40 to 45. That's why I thought that he was. But again, if you take the length of the contract, he's in the same bracket as Jay Cutler, as Matthew Stafford, as Tony Romo. He's not up there with Rodgers. He's not up there with Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Breeze when you're talking about the income that he's going to get annually. Each year, he's not getting that much. Each year, yeah, the guarantee is a lot, but it's over 6 seasons. So if you count that in, and this year, matter of fact, because it is an extension, okay? It is an extension. So this year, base salary, he's getting like $600,000. He's getting $600,000 in base salary. The contract kicks in for next season. So everybody on like CNN who don't do sports, like, shut up, pump your brakes. You don't know football. Fall back. You know what I mean? It's like the contract, again, 61 guaranteed for somebody that still is growing is a lot. But if you look at the team around him, the team was already set in my eyes. Now we got the quarterback locked up.
So do you think that you have a franchise quarterback that can lead you to a possible dynasty for the next 6 years?
Honestly, yes. Honestly, I feel like we have a quarterback that is good enough to win us a Super Bowl. That's good enough to win us a Super Bowl.
Multiple or single Super Bowl?
Multiple. Because I feel like, I honestly feel like it doesn't matter who we have at quarterback. When we go to Seattle, most likely it's going to be a loss. When we go to Seattle, most likely it's going to be a loss. I don't care if it's Tom Brady. I don't care if it's Peyton Manning. I don't care who it is. Okay, give the Seahawks Colin Kaepernick and give the Niners Russell Wilson. When the Niners go to Seattle, it's a done deal. We're probably not going to win up there because we just never do. But when it's playoff time, anything is possible. You know what I mean? If we can take potential, if we can take what we think Colin Kaepernick can turn into, I like the deal. I'm okay with the money. I do think the guarantee is a little bit high, but I feel like if we can get past Seattle, there's no other team in the NFC, I feel like, that can see us. Anything is possible. Chicago can have a great year. Chicago can have a phenomenal year. Green Bay, a team from the East, whether it's Philadelphia or the Redskins or the Cowboys, another team, or the Saints or the Falcons or the Panthers. There are a bunch of teams in the NFC that are good teams. But right now, I think the only team in the Niners' way is the Seahawks. That's just how I personally feel.
Even
but the Bears are good. Huh?
Even the Packers.
I feel like the Packers are The Packers are good, but the Packers aren't great. The Packers aren't great. I see a lot of holes with the Packers. I think their D-line is a question mark. I think their linebacker core without Clay Matthews is a question mark. I mean, Julius Peppers playing outside linebacker, that's a new position for him. Am I think that he's just going to ball out? No, he's a 30-something now. He's not in his prime anymore. That secondary is a little bit shaky. I think the one area where the Niners are vulnerable is their cornerback position. But that's really it. Outside the cornerback's position, safety, locked up. Linebackers locked up. D-line locked up. O-line locked up. Running backs, receivers locked up. Can Colin Kaepernick read the progressions, throw that ball on time, lead us to touchdowns and not field goals? And we got a chance, man. We got a chance.
Tox, weigh in on this, man.
What's the question? I just got in. My internet's kind of slow here since.
Do you think Colin?
I'm somewhere else.
No. Do you think Colin Kaepernick is worth all that money?
Oh, I guess since nowadays with all the quarterbacks and everything like that,
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Making money even if they're not even if they may not be worth it. I think for him to be able to make the playoffs and to lead them to the NFC. As well to the Niners. I think it's worth it, especially since he's still pretty young. I mean, it's still a gamble for the Niners, of course, but at the same time, though, I think it's a safe gamble because they have time, because they have everybody locked up, like Dawkins was saying, and everything like that. So I think it's a good enough gamble for them to try with him, and as well as there's not really many other options out on the market either. So I mean. I don't see how. I think right now for Kaepernick, it's justified for his salary, especially since the way other, I guess you could say, other sports throw away their money, throw around their money. I think for that, this is just part of the NFL transitioning some of their quarterbacks and potential star quarterbacks to higher raises and higher salaries. So I think it's. He probably should have gotten a little less, like what Dawkins was saying about the 45,000, or I mean 45 mil. But again, I think it just 15, 20 mil extra. I don't think the Niners can go wrong with that too much.
Exactly. I totally feel the same way. Because if you think about it, let's say Vernon Davis is gone. Shoot, everybody's turning a basketball player into a tight end anyway. You know what I mean? I think it'll be easy to find a tight end. I think it'll be easy to replace a Vernon Davis, in my opinion.
Okay. This is how I feel about it. I was excited at first because I'm like, all right, so the Bears have to go up against Colin Kaepernick every year in the playoffs. You know, okay, you know that's gonna be exciting. You know, whatever. Yeah. But then it hit me that because they pulled up this graphic on ESPN and then they showed how much Cutler got. And then I started thinking, what has Cutler done? Because right now, I would take Colin Kaepernick over Cutler. You could make a legitimate argument that Colin Kaepernick is worth way more than Jay Cutler is. So I can't be mad at that contract. Because you have a team that has gone, that could have gone to the Super Bowl for the last 3 years. Yes, Dawkins, I see that thing. Thank you. So literally, their roadblock has been one team, you know, and that has been the Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks. We don't call them by the Seahawks over here.
Okay, well, I'm not over there, so.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, this team has been amazing, and for all the crap that I give this guy about not being able to throw the ball and not really having that QBR or whatever, because I like to use ESPN stats. Okay. So for all the crap that I give this guy,
QBR though,
the fact that he is able to take a team and make them a Super Bowl contender year in and year out is amazing to me. And Jay Cutler has not been able to do that. And you could argue that Jay Cutler has had more experience, obviously, more time, and you could even argue that he has had more support and more people around him to take him there because he has had great defenses. He has had monster receivers this past year. He has a great running back. He has literally they have given him everything that he's wanted, and yet he can't do it. So, yes, the guaranteed money for Colin Kaepernick is a little bit high, But at the end of the day, it's very hard to find a good quarterback in the league today.
A good young quarterback too.
A good young quarterback.
He's only been in the league 3 years.
Exactly, because so many quarterbacks these days are busts. Does anyone remember Matt Leinart? Does anyone remember? We got the Tim Tebow, we got the Cole
Russell.
DeMarcus Russell. Okay, Brandon.
Let's not forget about Vince Young either.
Vince Young, Brady Quinn. All these guys were going to be saviors of a franchise, and they actually are riding the bench somewhere or cut from the league entirely. DeMarcus Russell. So
yeah, and I think that like what you just said is why I'm also okay with it, because he's in that bracket of like the second tier quarterbacks when it comes to the money. Guarantee is high, but for the salary and what he's gonna make, it's fair. Because like you said, it's like Jay Cutler's contract, it's like Romo's contract. But with those guys, with Romo and Cutler, you already know what you're gonna get. It's almost as if you have to add players to help him. You have to add players to help Joe Flacco. I think that you can take away a Vernon Davis and find somebody who's not as good, and the Niners will still be okay. I think when Frank Gore, I believe this is gonna be his last year with the Niners. You've been a heart and soul, Frank.
Go ahead.
Heart and soul, Frank, top 5 Niner of all time. I'm just saying though, it's probably gonna be his last. It's probably gonna be his last season with us, and I think we're gonna be okay. But with Jay, with Joe, with Eli, it's like these guys need help, and I don't see that with Kaepernick. Because plus his ceiling, like you said, he has the potential to be better than all of those guys. Maybe not in the same category as Tom or Drew Brees or Rodgers or Manning, but he has the potential to be like right underneath them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Remember to leave comments down below, you guys. Let us know what you think about this whole Colin Kaepernick thing. Do you put him... Okay, you know what? We're going to go off topic here, like we usually do, and we're going to name our top 10 quarterbacks. Because Dawkins, you said that you would put him top 10. So we have to come to a consensus right now and go with the top 10. So can we put Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in there, obviously, in 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we got those 2. And then who are we putting at number 3?
Number 3, I'm going with Rodgers. It might make you mad. Yeah, it might make you mad, but I will go with Rodgers.
Over Russell Wilson.
Over Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, over Russell Wilson.
And then who at number 4 then?
Breeze.
Over Russell Wilson.
Over Russell Wilson.
Okay, 5.
5. 5. Wow. 5.
You don't have Russell Wilson in your top 5?
I'll go with Cam.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Oh, wow.
Hear me out.
Right?
Hear me out. Hear me out. Russell Wilson is a good quarterback on a great team.
Oh, wow. Here we go with that.
No. I'm not taking anything away from him. I feel like he is a good talent. I think that he is a tremendous leader. But I don't feel like he's one of those guys that you put on any single team and it's just an upgrade. Can you really sit here and say if you put Russell Wilson on the Cowboys going to the playoffs? Okay, then. No, you can't. You thought
they'd
about
have
it.
a better chance than Romo.
They would have a better they might have a better chance, but is it a guarantee? No, it's not a guarantee. So for me, with Russell, is he top 10? Yeah, he's top 10. But you talking about my five, you got the 4 horsemen. We already know them. And then number 5, to me, it will be Cam Newton.
But what has Cam Newton done?
Cam Newton has gotten the Panthers to the playoffs. In the NFC South, I got Drew Brees and the Saints. In the NFC that has the Cowboys, the Eagles, has all these teams, and he found a way to get the Panthers with 1 receiver to the playoffs. They won a division. I believe they had 12 wins.
Yeah, but the Giants were bad this year as well as the Redskins last year.
Okay.
Those were bad. So that opened up spots.
Okay, yeah. That right there did open up spots. But once upon a time, Eli Manning was in everybody's top 10. He's still there. What changed in New York? He's still there. They had one of the worst seasons in history. Joe Flacco is still there. Matt Ryan is still there, and they dropped off. So to me, when we're talking about the quarterback position, yes, it takes a team to win a Super Bowl. It doesn't take an entire team to win or just to have a winning record in the NFL. If this quarterback is gonna make $100 million, he has to be the Don Dada. He has to be the guy that's gonna get you 9 to 10 wins every single season and be like, he's the reason why. So for me, I feel for me, if you look at Russell Wilson's his numbers, he's not asked to do a lot. I feel like Cam Newton had to carry the Panthers at times.
I can see that.
That's why I got Cam over him. But number 6 will definitely be Mr. Wilson. I got him at 6.
Put him at 6.
I'll put him at 6. Yeah, I'll put him at 6.
Okay. What about 7?
7 will be Mr. Luck, Andrew Luck.
Because of what he did last year.
What he did his first 2 years. He got the Colts to the playoffs his first 2 seasons. Won a playoff game last year. Had to come back.
Yep.
He was also the reason why.
One of the worst teams before a year before. So.
Yeah. Think about it. You take Peyton Manning off of the Colts, they have the worst record in the league. You put Andrew Luck on the Colts, they go to the playoffs. So Andrew Luck is definitely number 7.
Okay. What about number 8?
Number 8, go on my man Colin Kaepernick.
Of course. Okay. Number 9.
Number 9, I'll go with Stafford. Yeah, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Somebody gotta get the ball to Megatron. I mean, Matthew Stafford has thrown for over 5,000 yards twice in his career.
But if you put Alex Smith there, is it the same production from Megatron?
No, it's not the same production from Megatron. Alex Smith doesn't have a strong arm. Matthew Stafford has one of the strongest arms in the NFL. He can throw that deep ball. Throw the deep ball.
Then you put Jay Cutler there.
Jay Cutler. To me, Jay Cutler has more and doesn't produce at the same level. With Matthew Stafford, I still see his ceiling. With Jay Cutler, we know what we're gonna get with Jay Cutler. I feel like Matthew Stafford can get better than what he's done. So if you count that in with the numbers, with the production, he had some bad turnovers. He had some really bad turnovers. Jay Cutler's the king of bad turnovers. Because Jay Cutler got Alshon Jeffries and Brandon Marshall and a horse at running back and Matt Forte.
Don't bring him up. Let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Jay Cutler just makes me mad. It makes me so mad.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's why I got Matthew Stafford number 9, and then number 10 it will be Tony Romo.
You put Tony Romo at number 10?
Yeah, over guys like Alex Smith and Nick Foles, yeah.
Over Nick Foles, going into this season, over Nick Foles, Alex Smith.
Going into the season.
I'd rather take...
Over Jay Cutler, over RG3. You would have him over RG3.
Over RG3.
Oh, my gosh. Really?
Yeah, okay.
Phillip Rivers? You would have him over Phillip Rivers?
Ooh, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. All right. Is that what you were going to say, Tox? You said you can put Phillip Rivers in there?
Yeah, that was I was thinking.
Okay, wait. Okay. I forgot about my man Phillip. All right, so Andrew Luck at 7, Rivers at 8, Cap at 9, Stafford at 10. I'll still have Stafford in there. I'm sorry. Alex Smith, he's not asked to do a lot. Can the Chiefs win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith? Absolutely, but he's not asked to do a lot. You know what I mean? Matt Ryan, again. Yes, he lost the majority of his receivers last year due to injury, but to give your team a top 6 pick in the draft when you're making $100 million as a quarterback, that can't happen. You cannot be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league and not have your team sniffing the playoffs in December. It can't happen.
Why don't you have Andy Dalton in there?
Andy Dalton, playoffs. Andy Dalton, it comes down to the playoffs. He can't win the playoffs.
Eli Manning. I mean, if you forget about this year.
I can't forget. I mean, okay, with Andy Dalton, it's not just the playoffs, but the AFC North has fallen off. It used to be Ravens and Steelers. The Steelers missed the playoffs the past 2 seasons. The Ravens missed the playoffs last season, so I feel like the Bengals are peaking at the right time, but they have a quarterback that can't win in the playoffs. That's hurting them. When you talk about Eli Manning, again, Victor Cruz was healthy. He was healthy.
Isn't that crazy how we forgot?
Yeah, Victor Cruz was healthy. What's his name? Hakeem Nicks. He was healthy. The only thing that changed was the O-line, and the O-line's a big deal. I'm not saying it's not, but a lot of those 25 interceptions that Eli Manning threw last year, yes, 25 of them, he forced it when he didn't have to force it. He was trying to make too many plays and failed. That's why he's not on my top 10. Because if he hangs onto the ball, takes a sack, the Giants don't lose as many games as they did last year. And they might have even snuck their way into the playoffs.
Okay. Explain Nick Foles not being in the top 10, because here's a guy that broke all these records for passing this past year.
He didn't break a heck of records. Stop being Skip Bayless, bro. He ain't break heck of records. All right. He, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Phenomenal. Here's the problem. Michael Vick was the starter last year. The Eagles came out in this read option offense. All the defensive coordinators are gearing up to stop that. Then they bring in Nick Foles. Hear me out. Then they bring in Nick Foles, and he's lighting it up. Now, the question that I pose to you, is Nick Foles going to get better this upcoming season or drop off? With everybody that I've picked in my top 10, they're either going to get better or stay the same. With Phillip Rivers, I think he might even take another step up. I'm shocked that I forgot about him, but I think he's going to take another step up. You know what I mean? The reason why Jay Cutler's not on my list is because I don't know what I'm going to get from him. Tony Romo barely missed. I don't know what I'm going to get from RG. I don't know what I'm going to get from RG3. I don't know.
Is RG3 done? Can we put a...
He's not done. No.
Come on, man. His knee is busted. His confidence is on the floor.
That's true, but he tried to come back from his knee injury way too early. And that was his main focus. His main focus was his knee, not becoming a better passer. I don't think RG3 or the Washington Redskins realized how difficult it is to pass from the pocket when you can't run. When the read option is not a threat and people can just play pass coverage versus you, and you have to sit back there and read the pocket and sit back there and read from the pocket and sit back there and read coverages, it's different in the NFL than it is in college. In the college, he had the read option, he was accurate. His rookie season, he had the read option, he was accurate. You take the read option away from him, all of a sudden he can't find people open. All of a sudden the receivers don't look as open as they once did. So I don't know which RG3 I'm going to get. So because he was banged up last year, I'm going to fall back on him. That doesn't mean by week 8 he can't be number 5 on this list. RG3 is a bad boy. RG3 a bad boy. But he got to prove it. He can't just show up and be like, hey, I'm RG3, I'm here now. No, you got to prove it, brother. You got to prove it. Let's see if you can be better than Tony. Let's see if you can be better than Eli. Let's see if you can be better than Nick Foles, because these are the guys in your own division. If you can't win your division, how you going to be on my list? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, baby.
Tox, do you have anything else to say about talking this list here?
Nah, he covered it pretty much.
That's what I'm talking about. Because I put Phillip Rivers up in there. I forgot about him, Talks. My bad, baby.
San Diego would be mad at you, man.
I know, right? It would be hot.
All right, well, let's move on. That was a good discussion there.
Yes, sir.
So, again, you guys leave comments down below. Let us know your top 10 quarterbacks going into next season. Gosh, Nick Foles not in there. Unbelievable. All right, David Ortiz and David Price incident slash brawling in baseball. Now, if you guys don't know what happened earlier this week, David Price and Big Papi and basically the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays got in this whole little argument slash brawl because of different beatings between different players, and people charged them out, and there were suspensions handed out, but the suspensions didn't really make sense according to David Ortiz, and David Ortiz was furious about this. He actually decided to say that it wasn't fair and rules don't apply to everyone, and how is their pitcher getting a suspension, but on the flip side, David Price is not getting a suspension. So this is what we're going to talk about today, and as well as add on to that, are brawls in baseball a good thing or a bad thing, considering that these are family games? So I'll start with either one of you guys, whoever wants to jump in here.
You want to take it, Tox? You can take it.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it. I think if you're talking about from a family aspect, no, it's not really like something you want to see. Baseball grown men fighting over some petty stuff. But
Right.
for a sport that people want to crave more excitement from, yeah, I would say that it's something that adds more fuel to the fire for games and then for rivalries and things like that. But um, and so for some people like that think of baseball as boring, and that's an aspect of something that brings it more to the forefront of having more excitement at the games, or more excitement in baseball in general, is having these hot-headed players going at each other, and as well as just at the same time um, them kind of cooling themselves off and kind of reminding each other of that, hey, we're not going to tolerate it, whether it's from a team aspect or as well as it's from an individual aspect of a pitcher thinking that that either the players are like the players on the other team are just maybe clowning too much or things like that, or at the same time, even if there are times where pitchers will have like command issues and they can't really they will have those wild throws, and um, you can't really control those. So when you can't really control those, a lot of times, hopefully, the coach can recognize and take them out before it starts a brawl and things like that. But
Yeah.
I think definitely from the overall in general, as a question for the question, I think it should uh, be for the entertainment purposes. I think it should still be continuing, like these little brawls and things like that. But for family and role model status, no, I don't think that would be something that should continue. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think about it.
All right, sounds
Yeah.
good. Docky, what do you think, man?
For me, baseball and another sport I'm compare it to hockey. They are, so to speak, stuck in their ways. Brawls have been in baseball for a while now. You know what I mean? If you throw at somebody's hitter, the pitcher's gonna throw at your hitter and stuff like that. That's just like an unwritten rule of baseball. Hockey, they're still fighting. They're not really trying to change or discipline the players anymore and stuff like that. That's just what they want to do, and that's fine for for the diehard fans of those sports. But if you look at a game like the NFL or football, they're trying to make it a little bit more safer so everybody can enjoy it. Everybody's not being grossed out by these big time hits at people's heads and stuff like that. So to me, so to me, I think that it's hurting the game for trying to bring in a new audience, but I think for the diehards, it's fine. That's what happens. For a casual baseball fan like myself, I'm thinking to myself, the Tampa Bay Rays are not even the best team in Florida right now. The Marlins are. Number two,
Great
it's still,
baseball knowledge there.
you know, number two, it is the beginning of summer, but it's still not even the All-Star break yet. So like these games don't matter that much. I know that they do when you break down the standings at the end of the season. This game here and this game there are gonna make the difference of who makes the playoffs or not. But for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. But I have to agree with David Ortiz, and I actually liked what he said. When he was talking to the reporters, he's like, "I'm a grown man. I don't play that crap. You ain't gonna throw the ball at me." But again, David Price actually hit David Ortiz. The pitcher of the Red Sox didn't even make contact with the guy that he was throwing at. The ball went way behind him and stuff like that. It looks bad. So for him to get suspended, I agree 100% with David Ortiz. David Price should get suspended too then. You know what I mean? Because to me, it was just, you threw at if this pitcher threw at my hitter, I'm going to throw at his hitter now. And that's just the way that baseball works. Do I have a problem with it? Not really. But again, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not like brawls happen as frequently as fights do in hockey. So I think it's okay as long as there's no like punches being thrown and stuff like that. But I do think the MLB needs to start thinking about giving real suspensions, for this. You know what I mean? I don't want to see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, who could forget Pedro Martinez throwing down Don Zimmer from the Yankees down there to the ground.
He threw that man down hard.
Rest in peace, Don Zimmer. But anyway, but isn't he going to be remembered for that, like that hit? But anyway,
no, I think he's going to be more remembered for being the bench coach of the Yankees than
okay, well, we'll see. But anyway, but let's okay. So
Pedro,
my
they give it to him,
really
though.
quickly before we move on. This is a tough one because
man said that man by his head though. And then he saw him on the ground, his eyes rolling around like, the hell happened? He just got thrown by Pedro Martinez, fool. Oh, man. Oh, that was one of the best moments ever, yo. He tried to go after Pedro, though. He grabbed him by his head and then threw him down. Straight WWE style, man. That ain't nothing good. But yeah, I'm sorry, Livin. I had to, man. What was he saying?
Oh man, Brawls suck. I mean, they're cool for the sport, but I don't think that they should be in the sport. I think that it's an immaturity level a lot of times on players. And as much as I agree with David Ortiz and his statement about it not possibly being fair, David Ortiz has no right to speak about anything being unfair. This is a guy that used profanity in front of a packed house at Fenway after the Boston bombings and didn't receive any type of suspensions or fines. This is a guy that has been known to spur at the mouth without receiving any type of suspensions or fines, while other people are getting fined, like managers, for making snide comments like he makes. This is also a guy, like I said, that has charged him out, been involved in a lot of brawls and in a lot of verbal confrontations and not received anything. A guy that has been accused for steroids multiple times that has always said, "Yo, this is fucking crazy. What you mean steroids?" So, I don't know where he's coming from. That was pretty good, right? That accent.
That was hilarious.
No, I don't really know where he's coming from with this. But should David Price get suspended for what he did? Yes. But at the same time, another thing that's a kind of an underlayer to this is in that game, the Boston Red Sox went through.
No, we lost him.
Uh-oh. Yo, Livin, you still there? Big homie.
One thing. And another thing,
Living.
where
There he is. He's back. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I went off or whatever, but
Yeah.
When it comes down to brawls in baseball, it's a serious problem because it's immaturity and that old saying that people say where like any publicity is good publicity is dumb because we don't want bad publicity to go towards baseball. We want good publicity. And when people are doing this and it's only bad publicity like brawls and steroids and David Ortiz popping off at the mouth, that's not good publicity, unfortunately. Why don't we highlight, someone like Brandon Phillips, who was an outstanding guy, been an all-star toward the later end of his career, and a Gold Glove second baseman, and who was interacting with every single fan that this guy is one of the greatest guys in baseball, and yet they're not highlighting him. They're talking about a freaking brawl. So, as a baseball fan, it hurts me when they do this. It hurts me in my heart. But yes, that is my spiel. So
yeah, and again, that's why I feel like baseball kind of just does things their like own way. You know what I mean? With the whole pine tar thing. It was like they were teaching the guy how to do it on live TV. Do it like this. You got to conceal it better and stuff like that. It's like to me, they're not gonna get any new fans doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it
So we've
definitely
been
is.
on the air for about 40 minutes now. So let's get to our last topic, and then let's wrap it up with a man to preach it, as we always do. So let's. I don't know. My head is just somewhere. So let's finish today by talking about the recent international soccer games and the recent injuries. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo is on that doubtful for the World Cup, which would be a major blow for everyone involved in that World Cup. And interesting. As well, hello, as well as other multiple injuries going on. So it's very 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 hard to do. But who wants to jump on this gravy train?
It sucks for Mexico. That's all I gotta say. It sucks for Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me. It sucks. It sucks that these guys are going down on friendlies. You know what I mean? And we won't get to see them, in the World Cup. But I mean, that's part of the game, and that's why it's like the whole friendly thing. To me, it's not like a preseason football game. To me, these guys go all out in friendlies. You know what I mean? These guys go all out and they're trying to put up points. They're trying to show their skills and showcase everything. Where like in a regular preseason game, like these guys aren't doing that. But as far as friendlies in soccer, these guys are going all out. So injuries like that are going to happen. It sucks to see, but I wish that kind of that these guys would kind of scale back and wait for the World Cup. But again, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
That's definitely true.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say, yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, the injuries are part of any sport, and as well as for the soccer, it's a straight 45-minute halves and things like that. So there's more of a tendency to an injury to occur because of that. Because any other sport, you get breaks and timeouts and things like that. Whereas with soccer, you get the whole straight 45 minutes of going back and forth up and down the field. And so I guess, yeah, you could say for the warm-ups, especially since it's the World Cup, all the players are going to be trying to show off for like their club teams, or as well as for future contracts, or as well as just to prepare the team in general for the competition that's they're going to face and everything like that. So, yeah, I don't think the Ronaldo thing for sure. I believe he's definitely going to be back for sure. I don't think there's going to be any problems with that. This is just mainly tendonitis stuff, and as well as I guess one of the main focuses too is that for the United States they've been focusing on fitness, and so to be the fittest team, a lot of these players or a lot of these teams are going to try to use that mentality too, is trying to be the fittest team there, and so then you can continue at a pace in Brazil's weather conditions without having to worry about injuries and all that stuff. But for the preseason, I think it's good and bad at the same time. You'll see like really good games from time to time, like especially like the England versus Ecuador game. That was pretty entertaining to watch with some of their goals and things like that. But as well as just the injuries, we can't do anything about it. It's almost kind of like a luck of the draw in a way with the injuries.
Yeah, but why hasn't anyone on the United States gotten hurt though? I mean, one person gets hurt. One person gets hurt, Donovan comes in. So I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate to see, and it sucks that people are getting hurt. But like you guys have already said, it's part of the game, and it's gonna happen. And it just shows who can take the heat and who can't. I mean, get the weak people out of here. So.
Ooh.
So let's finish it up. Those are all of our topics today, you guys.
Those are a good job, man.
Some topics were more intense than others. I think that soccer topic was definitely a failure, and we'll never do that again. But other than that, it was good. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
No worries.
Dumb.
I never know if I'm really here or not. I'm just like spitting words or something.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Minute to preach it though.
Minute to preach it. So who wants to go first today?
I'll go first.
All right. Let me get a minute on the clock for you. All right, man. Tell me whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Now, this topic has been outplayed. We've all talked about it. We all know what happened. But we got some insight to why it happened yesterday. The U.S. men's soccer head coach let everybody know one of the reasons why he did not keep Donovan. It was the Kobe Bryant effect, is what he called it. He looked at the Los Angeles Lakers superstar getting a 2-year, $48 million contract as a stretch, and he did not want to pay Landon Donovan for his services in the upcoming World Cup. To me, that's total BS. You already know how I feel. I feel like they could have gave Donovan a ceremony, let him know that this will be his last time, kind of do like how they did with the Mexico superstar, just let him play the first half of a friendly, then give him a farewell at halftime. And another thing, Donovan, in my opinion, has earned that. Even though United States soccer is not the best, he is the best player in United States soccer's history. So I felt like he deserved a little bit of a send-off. Who cares about how much money it is? He's a legend. You can pay them for what they used to do.
That was beautiful, man.
Yeah. I mean, because Kobe ain't worth 24 per year, but for what he did, he is.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? The other day, I sat down. I watched like a World Cup game from like 2002 that had Donovan in it, just because he was there.
Yeah.
All right, and I already know it was against it was against Mexico. So, all right. Tox, you want me to go next?
Yes. Sure, I'll go next.
Okay, man.
No, let Tox.
I'll go next. I'll go next.
Okay, Tox, go next.
Okay.
Because who knows how long I'm gonna be here? I'm just going in now. All right, man. Whenever.
All right, I'm ready now. I guess what I'm going to be talking about is I guess the trades and trade rumors going around for baseball right now. Just because it's getting towards that point where the All-Star game is coming up soon, and as well as for that the trade deadline the end of next month. So. Just with that, like a lot of teams are going to be wanting to compete, and there's a few teams that are actually are capable. There's a lot of teams this year that are strong that have turned around some of their franchises, like Dawkins was saying earlier with Miami. They're having a good season, so they may have a chance for acquiring some some trades as well too during this time before the trade deadline comes up, as well as the Phillies, who are going down in a spiral a little right now. With their season, and they're thinking about trading some of their players, such as Cliff Lee and as well as Chase Utley. So that could be a big major factor. And so a lot of leagues could benefit, a lot of teams could benefit. Who knows as the trade deadline comes up?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great minute to preach it, bro.
Your turn, big homie.
Great job. All right. If I cut out, just let me know. But I don't think I'll take my minute anyways. That long. All right. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, man. I've been waiting for this all week.
Is it another Donovan rant? Is it?
No, Donovan's not. I'm over that.
Yeah. Okay. Finally.
Right, shut up. All right. Okay. Are we ready? Thanks.
Yeah, man, waiting on you.
All right. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about Don Zimmer and him passing away. It was a huge loss for baseball. He was a great coach. And now that I've said all that, I'm going to be talking about what he's actually going to be remembered for. He's going to be remembered for getting his butt kicked by Pedro Martinez. Yes, he is. And the sad thing about all this, literally he grabbed his head and threw him to the ground. And the sad thing is that that's what he's going to be remembered for. And it's because brawls exist in baseball. Even though, like I said, this guy has been a great coach throughout his whole career, I don't know how many people, and you got to have to be honest with yourself, were like, okay, so who is Don Zimmer? And then you see the bald-headed dude, and you're like, oh, yeah, that guy. How many guys actually said that? So it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, this is what I'm talking about. Bad publicity for baseball isn't always good publicity, and it will bite you in the ass, and, hey, that's how it's going to be remembered. That's it. I'm done.
That was excellent, Doug.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an awesome show, and we'll be back here next Thursday, same time, same place, same guys. Maybe we may have another person coming. Who the F knows? So,
never know.
You may never know. 6:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Pacific time, ish time, 3:30 Pacific time, and 4:30 Mountain time. I threw that in there too for you guys. All right, but that's it. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave comments down below on all the topics. You can rewatch this if you came in at the end. Whatever. I don't care. Okay? Leave a like, dislike if you don't like what you heard. And, yeah, you guys got any send-off words?
Don't drop the soap.
Let's go USA.
Go USA, baby! A week away. Jeez. All right, I'm out of here. Send this.